Narcissism has become one of those easy labels to point in everybody else's direction except your own. And it's one of those mentalities where we come as a society, we create these trends of like sayings and labels and how we overindulge in them, how we overindulge in how we describe people and our issues and our problems. And right now in society, one of those is narcissists. And yes, there are narcissists in the world. Yes, there are people that they won't ever be able to change, they won't ever be able to learn, they won't work out of it. But this label is being placed on many more people that it doesn't belong on. And it's because you want to make yourself feel better about yourself. It's because you don't want to take any blame yourself. You don't want to be at fault. You don't want to have a reason for how you messed it up, or how you did something wrong, or how you treated people, or how you could have just, decided and made a better decision for yourself. And it's also the fact that life comes with shit. Life comes with problems. Life comes with arguments. Life comes with, discussions that might not be the highest of fulfillment towards each other, right? There might be some words said. There might be some fights. Things happen. Bad shit happens. And we can't place every time something bad happens, every time a relationship gone wrong, doesn't mean any of the parties were narcissists. It doesn't mean any of the parties need to be really labeled anything. In fact, this is where I would want everybody to try to take more of a look at how they can say they're at fault for everything. Take radical accountability. Now, go to an extreme where I know you can actually go way too far and be way too selfish in how you take responsibility and take the fault. But just do me a favor, if you had something go wrong, just say it was everything in your power that you messed it up. And now what this does is almost tells yourself that you were in control of the whole situation, which can be too far. But then I want to dial it back a little bit afterwards. Now, the reason we want to go all the way is just because you need to look at your internal self deeply. Like, you need to go through everything inside yourself that you messed up, that you did wrong, that you said wrong, that maybe you did something, or it might be more about what you didn't do. What did you not do? What did you not do in this relationship? What did you not do for the situation that you're in, this problem that you're in? What did you not do? And I think some people forget about the things that they don't do versus everything that is done, right? There's things that, happen. There's things that you do. But not all the time it's about those things that you do. It's about what you didn't do. And this is where I'm also going to bring it, because this is coming from a big energy today for me. And hopefully this rain, we're having good rainfall for the next week, and I'm in the truck, so hopefully this rain doesn't cloud the audio too much. But this is something that honestly angers me, because it comes from accountability for some people. And the reason it angers me is because I want others to be better. And I know you can only get better if you figure out what you did wrong and then make it better. If you point the blame at anybody else, you will never grow. You will never make better decisions. You will never figure out how you can find good relationships, how you can make a good life for yourself. Like, if you go through things that maybe even weren't your fault. Now, this is where we get into, was it even your fault? Maybe not. Maybe you had no control over the situation. But what it comes to is that it's your responsibility. And we forget these values that maybe we have been taught and spoken to us at a younger age, where it's like, be respectful, be responsible, be accountable. Nobody takes this into adult life. Now, I don't want to say nobody. That's way too far. A lot of people don't take this into adult life. And the reason they don't is because maybe you just say you're respectful, maybe you say you're accountable, but those values, those things actually take actions. It's not just a being. Though it takes extra work to be accountable. It takes extra work to be responsible. It's not like you are just responsible. Each action dictates whether it was a responsible action, whether or not you are being accountable in that action. It doesn't mean you're 100% accountable and responsible all the time, because nobody's perfect. Now, if you were born perfect, you're probably just God. And I say that speaking to also to myself. It's like, I'm not perfect. And I speak to you guys in the way of like, I've made, I haven't done things in the past, meaning I also did bad things. I also made it so I didn't do the right things. I didn't do the good things. And those were the stuff I missed. But because I've reflected on them, I've been able to shift. I've been able to understand, wait, in the future, I need to do those things. And in the future, I need to cut out the bad stuff. You need to cut out the fat. You need to cut out the waste. But you need to fill it with good stuff. And, maybe my actions, or how I treated somebody, or how I handled situations, or how I don't know. It's any situation that you can take from and learn from, and you can understand that there was bad and there was good. There was things that you did well, and there was stuff you didn't do well. So then you look at those things you didn't do well, and you're like, well, okay, next time I want to manage myself better in this area so I don't do those things again. I don't want those patterns to increase and develop me into that person, because I don't want to be that person. In fact, developing into that person and continuing those actions attracts the wrong people towards me, right? And that's where it becomes your fault, because then it's like, what am I doing that's attracting these people to me? Why am I always interacting with someone that treats me horribly? Why am I always interacting and creating these relationships with people that treat me horribly? And it can also be a reflection of yourself. You need to look in the mirror and point at the one person that's in it, and that's you. Because you're the only one that can make this happen. Now, if you point the blame at everybody else and say, he did this to me, she did this to me, and why do they always treat me bad? Why is it that I can't ever find somebody that treats me right? Why can't people just do this for me without me doing any work? That's what you just said. Why can't it just happen without me doing anything? That's a form of entitlement. You think you're entitled to people always treating you right, to people always treating you the 100% best. And you also think you're entitled to everybody's 100% best version of themselves. And you're not. And you can't control that either. The only thing you can do is make yourself better and try to be the best version of yourself the majority of the time. And you're not going to be your 100% the majority of the time. That's unrealistic. But what can you do to train yourself so that even when you're at like 50%, you're still better? You're still better than your past 100%. That's the goal here. And you can't do that without taking radical responsibility, because some things aren't your fault. But just because sometimes you go through situations that you didn't create and wasn't your fault, and somebody else might have done them, it's your job to figure out what you can take from it. It's your job to figure out how you can position yourself better next time, how you can build yourself better, how you can learn from it, and in fact, how you can fix that problem. Maybe you're in the storm right now. What are the things you need to do and take action on to make sure that you can get out of that? That you can make it better, that you can fix it. And that's all up to you. No, it wasn't your fault that it happened. No, it wasn't your fault that someone called you a name. No, and honestly, being called a name doesn't really matter. Right? At the end of the day, it's like, it's not your fault somebody did that to you, right? They did it. But I'm also going to counter argue that in the beginning, if you took, radical accountability for yourself, think of how that was all your fault. That it was your fault that someone treated you that way. And I don't want you going in the rabbit hole of, thinking that you can, make sure everybody treats you right, because that's just not going to happen, or make sure everybody's just, always the best, like we said. But what were the actions that you did that maybe they reflected you? Because we live in a world and our bodies are actually so much more powerful than we think they are. What happens when you get in a relationship? Usually what happens is you take all their good, you learn from all their good, they make you better in some areas, but it also means you take all their bad. And this is the principle of you being the sum of the 5 people you most hang around, or in some other people's words, who you might associate with or be influenced by, right? Like, who do you look up to? Who are the people you listen to? Who are the people that you actually consume from? And this becomes even more closely dangerous when it's a physical partner, like a romantic partner that's really close to you, that you guys are talking, communicating all the time, you guys do stuff together. You extract everything that's good and bad from them, and they extract anything good and bad from you. It's just how it works. And so sometimes you are going to reflect each other. And over time, because you're feeding each other these I don't know what you would call them. You'd feed each other these different parts of you, the good and bad. You start becoming it. And so if over time you're seeing that maybe people are good in the beginning, and then all of a sudden, like, things just keep on changing. Like, it's a slow decline. I want you to ask yourself, what am I doing? What am I doing that's pushing this energy towards them? That makes me receive the energy back. And anybody who actually knows how to communicate with people and knows how to direct and lead and basically get whatever they want, they understand this principle and the fact that how you treat people is how you want to be treated back. Like, if you go and greet somebody, I bet you could take 100 different variations of a greeting to one person, and that one person will reflect back differently every time. And the best one will be able to get everything they were going to ask for, or the best energy back, the best chemistry and communication back. They're going to be the most happy at the ending because they came in with the right energy. And now, if you are wanting something, if you are wanting someone to treat you a certain way, you have to ask, how can I influence that? Or what am I doing wrong if I'm always finding people that don't treat me well, that don't treat me how I want to be treated? Because that's only defined by yourself. Like, I could just tell someone, I need you to treat me good. What does that mean? How are they supposed to know what's good? Maybe in their mind, what's good is my bad. And so they're just going to try to take it and run with it. And they might not do anything different. And if they do something different, maybe it's not better, maybe it's worse for you. You can't give vague direction. You can't expect vagueness when you want something. You have to tell people the actions that make it good. What are the actions I want someone to do that will treat me right, that I will consider treating me well, treating me over the top? What are the things that they will, do on a day-to-day basis that I will align with? So that I know if that they're doing things on a day-to-day basis without me, when we come together, it's going to be a better energy. That when we reflect with each other, that we're going to build something even better, not worse. And I'm going to feel better, not worse. I'm going to be more fulfilled, right? And so when you have these bad relationships, like, no matter how many you've had, if you didn't reflect on any of them, that's your fault. If you didn't try to figure out what you did wrong, and if you didn't try to figure out what you can do better, and how you can make sure it doesn't happen the next time, how you don't make the same mistake, if you didn't do any of that, that is your fault. And you probably aren't going to find someone better, and you probably aren't going to figure out what type of person you want. And then you're going to make the bad decision in trying to get with someone again and again and again, and pointing the finger at everybody else but yourself. How is that going to do you any good? It doesn't. And the reason I started this off with the word narcissism is because when people break up, when they go through these bad situations, or I don't even want to call them bad, I think it's like things didn't align, things ended up not being together, and maybe people on both sides did actions that just created a situation. Like it's something that made you guys split, right? And each side points fingers, says they're a narcissist. What do you think a narcissist really is? Just because you guys didn't work out doesn't mean somebody else is a narcissist, right? Like, it doesn't make sense. And the only way I make sense of it is the fact that people are lazy. People want also no accountability. So it's easier for me to just call somebody a narcissist. It's easier to just point at somebody else and be like, they're the narcissist, I didn't do anything wrong, I'm gonna live my life. And maybe you didn't do anything wrong, and maybe they didn't do anything wrong. But just because it didn't work doesn't mean somebody is labeled as a narcissist, or toxic, or the worst person in the world, or someone that is never gonna do good for society. That's not what that means. It just means it didn't work with you. They'll work for somebody else. They'll work amazingly with somebody else. Will they have shit to go through? Will they have problems that they have to solve? Will they have stuff they have to get better at? Yes. But so will you, and that's the one you have to focus on, not them. It gives that relationship and the other person the entire control and power over where it leads your life when you say everything was in their hands and you did nothing and you can't do anything about it. You literally just put yourself in a position where you won't ever get better if you have that and maintain that mindset. Good Lord, there's more I think I wanted to bring into this, but it's one of those things I'm seeing repeatedly over in society. It just doesn't make sense to me, and I'd like to hear you guys' thoughts on this, because I think I'm hearing these words more and more. And I also think social media doesn't help, because not only when we get in these bad situations, we start engaging and consuming the content and the people that we know are also going to feed our egos or feed the situation we were in. And then we're gonna get all these different ideas, all these different opinions, and we're gonna think all of them are true because it seemed relatable. And you can get caught really bad in this, because not everything is true, and not every situation is the exact same, right? Not every relationship is the exact same. And what it comes down to is that when I see it, in my point of view, the way I know that I've had relationships that I didn't do things that I know I should have. I wasn't being a good partner. I didn't make actions that made me a good partner. And maybe also at the time, younger Isaac decided, well, he doesn't have to do anything. He doesn't have to take any actions to make himself a better partner. They should just be a good partner with him. Or I'm just as good as I should be, which is never true. And it hurts me even more when two people are like that at the same time. It's I'm not doing anything, you are. I'm not doing anything, you are. Nothing gets fixed. Nobody gets better. Nobody learns how to interact and take actions with each other. And this is what a relationship's about. It's about communicating. When people talk about communication, the communication comes from me telling you more in detail about what you're doing that is causing me to maybe flare up, and I'm maybe starting to create resentment, or it's not, going in the, energy is not aligning in the direction that I want to go, or that I want to receive in myself. And that's where you have to communicate. And then say exactly what it is they're doing that's negative to you. And then, not only do you have to tell them what they're doing wrong, you have to tell them what they can do that gives you something positive. What actions can they do that improves the relationship, that improves how they communicate and act towards you and treat you. Not everybody wants to be treated the same. Not everybody will be treated the same. We all want different things. And this includes how we view respect, how we view good, how we view bad, how we view toxic energy, how we view pretty much anything. It's our own perspective. And every single one of us wants something different. So, of course, if you're finding yourself having bad partners that you say that are bad, that did everything wrong to you, that didn't do anything for you, look back at yourself, because it was your fault. They might have grown into a reflection of yourself. If you want somebody to do something for you, what are you doing for them? What are you doing? And if you say nothing, then why should you expect them to do anything for you? You have to raise your own bar, your own standard for yourself. You have to do things. You have to take actions. And if people aren't going to reciprocate that, and you're holding the bar high, and you know your standards, and your standards don't mean that you expect everybody else to do things for you, that you expect everybody else to make you feel a certain way. If your standards are more rooted within yourself and you're looking at the mirror, then you gotta also know that it was your decision if you keep somebody that is not fitting that standard. And it is also your fault if maybe they fall out of that standard and you don't communicate that. And we're all learning and growing human beings. Nobody is built perfect. Nobody is built perfect for you. And you're not gonna find the perfect for you the first time. It's very rare. You have to go learn. You have to communicate with people. You have to understand what people want to do, what people like, what people don't like. What do you value? You have to figure that out. And sometimes you just have to go through life and go through the shit to figure that out. But you won't figure it out if you don't reflect, if you don't take accountability. But you may have to go through relationships. You may have to go through problems. And you may have to just go through day to day and spend time getting better, because things get better in time. Things take time. Good things, great things take more time. Next time you think about saying, he didn't treat me right, or she didn't treat me right, he's a narcissist, she's a narcissist, and nothing will ever change. Well, in fact, maybe that other person also thinks you're a narcissist and they are actually trying to get better. You should do the same. And this comes from me going through experiences that I know it's like, dang, every time I could do better. All these things I could have done better. Maybe they were right. I wasn't the best. But that also doesn't mean they should carry that for the rest of their lives and say, oh, everybody else is gonna be bad. It's like, no, I was just young and didn't know yet. They're also the same. And it means you can learn yourself, begin to grow yourself, because then it comes an attraction play. You only attract who you are and what you can do. You're gonna learn how to raise your bar, raise your energy, so you can start to attract the other person. You probably aren't deserving of the person that you want at the highest level yet. You have to become the person that can attract that. It's not just going to come to you. It's not just going to happen. It's not just going to be anyone. It's going to be the one that will fit you. And it will be you that can make sure it can happen. Be you that can make yourself better. Be you that can look at all the mistakes. Be you that gets better each time. And then even once you find them, know that there's going to be problems in that relationship too that you have to figure out together. Because if our life was so good without problems, without arguments, without, any fights or disagreements or anything, we probably wouldn't go anywhere. And it would be pretty stale and boring, quite honestly. And that's where it comes into how you handle things and not the problems and not the things that happened. How you take responsibility, because things are always going to happen. And it's always the saying of, you might fall down, you will fall down, but it's how you get back up again. And we forget these sayings, and maybe we don't even forget them, we don't understand how they're used. You might be thinking of that saying, but you're not actually using it. It takes action to use it. It's how you handle it, never how it happens. If it happened because of you, because you did something previously, own it. Don't do it again, and then get back up from what the situation you're in. And I will say, I've pointed fingers at other people too. I've gone through my mind pointing at other people too. But I've always turned it around and said, what am I doing? What am I doing that's attracting this behavior? What am I doing that is allowing this behavior in my life? What am I doing? What can I do better? Because some people might just show you your own problems. Some people might just show you easily where you need to fix. Some people are really good at just mirroring you and showing you exactly what you need, and you're failing to realize that. You're putting it on them. It's right there. If you find something bad in somebody else, ask yourself if you hold that too. And if you hold that too, you have to make yourself better before you can try to make anybody else better. Because you can't put the mask on somebody else. It's a saying of like, when you're on the airplane, you put the oxygen mask on yourself before you help others. Because if you're dead, you can't help anybody. So make sure you can stay alive. Make sure you took care of yourself so that you can make sure others are better. And we call this selfishness. But I think it's more selfish to think you can do it without having the skills to do it, or without having the ability to do it if you haven't gone through it. You have to put it on yourself before you can help others. You have to know for yourself. You have to build your own traits. You have to make yourself a better leader. You have to make yourself a better communicator. You have to treat other people better before they can treat you good. You have to do that internally. This was a good one, and I hope you guys take a lot of value from this, and I hope this is helping build other leaders that can also, whether you were on the mindset that you were just pointing fingers at everybody, I want you to, to hopefully take the step back and point it at yourself. And if you were already in the mix of things and like somewhat took accountability, I want you to take more accountability. I want you to know that you're on the right path, and you're going to find a lot of people that aren't, and that's okay. But the more I make videos like this, I think the better it will do, and help push more this side versus just everybody pointing fingers and saying everybody's a narcissist. That does nothing for anybody or society, quite honestly. Because say everybody is a narcissist, 100% of people are narcissists, then it just becomes a standard, and then so what? What are you going to do about it? If somebody's a narcissist, what are you going to do about it? If you're a narcissist, what are you going to do about it? Like, I mean, you can do stuff about it, but like, okay, and they did all those things. Okay, and I think they did all those things for you, not to you. And you're by saying they did everything to you, and that they treat you horribly to you, is saying that you're a victim. They didn't do anything for you. Maybe you just take it as an example to learn from, and then turn it into something greater. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for tuning in.